Hey there, friends. In this quick video, we're going to show you how to use Realtor.com to determine the value of your home. So if you're asking yourself, what is my home worth? We're going to show you for free how to dig into that a little bit on Realtor.com, as well as some things to look out for. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with this home value, and we're going to punch in the subject address or what your property is that you're interested in selling. For the sake of this example, I'm going to use 839 Ridgetop Circle in St. Charles, Missouri. We can see right here they have an estimate of $395,300. Now, if we click on that, they say that data comes from independent valuation providers whose solutions are used by all of these folks. So they're kind of taking a blend of data, coming up with an average and saying, hey, this is what we think it is. Now, it's worth noting, they state on there, this is really just a starting point. So they don't know about the condition of the property inside or out. It's kind of just like computer's best guess. It's one of the reasons that you want to engage a licensed real estate agent that can tell you what your property is actually worth. Now, I do want to just be transparent with you guys. Realtor.com makes their money off of selling referrals as well as mortgage referrals. So all of these folks that are showing up as like featured or recommended are typically paying to end up there on your behalf. Personally, I would rather a recommendation that somebody wasn't compensated to send my way, but you can make your own decision there. Now, if we scroll down here, we can see very quickly they actually hide quite a bit of the information. Let me redo that. Now, if we poke around here a little bit, we can actually see that they hide quite a bit of the information. They want you to create an account, so you'll give them your contact information so they can reach out, contact you, sell your data, etc. So if we take this little toggle at the top here and we flick it over to public view, we can get some more information. Now we want to scroll down. Again, past all of the charts and stuff. Some of this stuff's interesting, like how they think the value has gone up. Looks like these are actually some of the data providers they're using. So CoreLogic, Collateral Analytics, and Quantarium. So that's how they're coming up with that real estimate data. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit more. They've got this guy that shows you just, what they think that number looks like around subject properties. Interestingly, the house next door, which is a little bit large. Interestingly, the house next door, which is actually a little bit larger, they have it just 275. So I wonder what's going on there. That's an interesting thing. So if we scroll down a little bit further, we can see that it's sold. They're not going to tell us what it's sold for. What we're looking for, though, is what nearby properties in similar shape have sold for. So if we scroll all the way down here, we can land on this recently sold homes. We can kind of flick through these, looking for something that appears to have sold recently that is a similar condition property. So this one here that went on November 18th, I probably wouldn't look at because it's substantially larger. The house we're looking at here is only 2,100 square feet. You can see that information right here. We want to be within about 20% of that. So really like up to 2,500 down to 1,700 effectively. If we look at this one here, again, probably a little bit too big. Also, it's not a 4.3 like this property is. This one here would likely be a good example. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. We want to go through the pictures though and determine, is this how our house looks? Is our property nicer or is it not as nice? And then because this is a non-disclosure state, they're not actually going to tell us what it's sold for. They're just going to tell us what it was last listed for. Now, the National Association of Realtors says that something like 98% of houses sell for what their list price is. It's worth noting that sale is the offer that they took, not what they walked away with. So you still have to take out realtor commissions, closing costs, as well as any like repairs or credits that the buyer asked for. So we could say this one right here at $360,000 is a pretty similar comp, assuming our property is in this condition. Can go back and see if there's any others that we want to consider there. Being transparent, I don't love their interface for this. I think it's a little bit clunky to use. You want to get comps, contact an agent, right? That's kind of their goal here, is really to generate leads for the folks that are paying them. If we come down here, we can look at some others. 2,900 square foot. This one, the property doesn't look at all like that. That one has a carport. That one's going to be too small. So this is pretty clunky. Let's back out to the homepage and let's try their just sold and see if that gets us a little bit closer to where we want to be. Okay, cool. This is a little bit more usable. So what we're going to do is come in here into property type, make sure we're just looking at houses, make sure we're looking at 4-bedroom places, make sure we're looking at 3-bath places. On this drop down, let's do a range of like 1750 to 2250. Property had a 2-car garage, so we want to make sure that's included. We're also looking for things that sold recently, like the sooner the better and the closer the better. Might even want to flip over to the map tool, zoom in on the particular area that this property was located in, and see if we can't get a little bit more accurate. Now, this particular property is located in this subdivision, which interestingly, they're saying they don't have any searches that match. So it's possible that things that sold either weren't in that square footage range or weren't in that bed and bath count. So let's go back a little bit more towards the list. Let's clear some of that out and just see if there's things that look similar to our property. Overall, I'm going to say this is probably my least favorite one of these that I've demoed so far. We really kind of have that one that went for 360 is about all that we've found. We've used this address for a couple other examples and we've come up with higher dollar amounts. So I like that they're blending multiple independent sources for kind of their online estimate, but actually pulling comps is pretty clunky. It's clear they want you to just have an agent do it for you. 3, 2, 1. If I was dead set on just using realtor.com to figure out what my house is worth, the best thing I think you can really do is come in here, personalize these fields, hope for the best, click through to each one. If you're in a non-disclosure state, right, where it's saying contact for price because they don't have it, we're going to have to look at kind of that listing history, right? So this one I probably wouldn't use because we're in January of 2025 when I'm filming this. This one's probably too old. But we could say hypothetically, we have this one at 380, we have the other at 360. We're going to look at kind of the average between those two, and that might be where we shoot for. So we could say that this subject property on a 839 Ridgetop that we started with is coming out at like 370 to 380,000 bucks, depending on the condition.